Hey there, folks. Welcome to Let's Play Games West Virginia. I'm Kevin.
I'm Heather.
And this is Pokemonday. If this is your first time tuning in, Let's Play Games West Virginia is a group of video game streamers from West Virginia. We have something going on every night of the week, and Mondays is for Pokemon of various stripes, typically Pokemon Go. We took a short break last week, but we're back at it this week. As you can see here, I'm making a trade for Pikachu with a flower hat, which was one of two special Pokemon that was available 2 weeks ago for the special event.
Flower crown.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get out for either one of those, so luckily Heather was kind enough to trade me both, and now I was able to have one of each. I'm going to frame a little bit. So welcome back to the channel. We had 2 weeks off, so we have a bit of a recapping to do. We had a fighting Pokemon event recently, in which you could see increased spawns for, Hariyama's little guy. What's the first stage of Hariyama? Makuhita. I also saw wild Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee out, which typically you don't see those. There were lots of, I thought, second stage and second stage evolutions for those guys, which is higher than average. How did that fighting event go for you?
It was okay. I did see a few Hitmonchan out in the wild, just as the Hitmonchan and not as Metatype. So, wrong Pokemon. I saw Metacham out in the wild. I also saw, I think, one wild Hitmonchan, in addition to the ones that were in the raid battles. Let's see what else. Mankey was out in full force. So one thing that we saw with the event, of course, as of late, they have been releasing new event shinies. So with this fighting event, they released a shiny Machop, which kind of looked like a green Ninja Turtle minus, Sans shell. And also a shiny Mankey, which was sort of a mint green color. But unfortunately for Primeape, the green was solely reserved to the arms and legs, and the torso actually returned to the regular color. So of all of the shinies, I thought the Machop evolution was the coolest, but the shiny Mankey was super cute too. So Primeape not really that cool looking. So as we'll see in a little bit in my footage, I was able to catch a shiny Mankey. However, I decided not to evolve it after seeing its evolved form.
I actually didn't end up with any of those. So here, I'm still in that grind, so I wanted to make use of an egg before I collected the final last bit of the Meltan quest that I have been stuck on since November. So I probably should have thrown on a star piece there too. But I finally finished the Meltan quest, which is really exciting. I got stuck on the catch and execute, and then I got 5 execute. And then I also got stuck on the Anarinth and the Leap section. So finally got that cleared out. Pleased to have it done. Now all of the special researches are clear. And
what are you going to do with your life now?
I don't know. Maybe take up some new hobby that takes less time, like learning how to quilt or something.
Oh. I meant a reference to the game, but okay.
But yeah, finally, 5 months of the Meltan quest, done. So the next time there's a special event, when there's a window to complete those events quickly, don't miss that.
Follow their suggestion. They really suggested that you get it finished in the time window of that first event. I finished it on the very last day, like in the last 2 hours of the event, because I knew that it would be exponentially harder to finish it, thus hour proof.
So glad to have that done.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't finished that or your other tests, good luck on your way. It recently has been a little bit easier to make that possible given the research opportunities, the field research opportunities, and raid bosses. So I do hope that you have been taking advantage of those opportunities, knowing that that is a limited time run for sure. As we see some of the events change, like the fighting event and now the coming Equinox event, we are going to be seeing some of those Pokemon shift.
I actually missed the intro for the Equinox event. Like, I saw it and I skipped past it. what's the Equinox event happening?
The Equinox event coming up, which I believe it has not started yet until, what is today? The 18th. It starts tomorrow. Sorry, the event starting dates are hard when you don't remember what day it is today. So, the new Equinox event starts tomorrow, in which we will see a higher number of grass-type Pokemon. So you'll see things like Oddish, Execute, for those of you still stuck, all of your standard, probably Bulbasaur, your second and third gen grass types. So that will be extremely helpful for those who are needing to fill out some of your grass type Pokemon. Additionally, we are going to see the switching again of Lunatone and Solrock. So when they were first released, I believed it was just Solrock that started here, and then we had an Equinox event in which they switched for a limited time period. And so now we've been with Lunatone for a while. Although I kind of feel bad because I just transferred like 6 or 7 Lunatones, and now that they're going to be a little bit harder of a commodity to get, I don't have extras. But anyway, so that starts tomorrow. We'll see Lunatone come to the, I don't remember which hemisphere is this.
Western and North.
The Western and Northern Hemisphere. And then Solrock will be here, and Lunatone will switch back. So that will be a nice adventure for those of you who have not filled out that Pokedex entry. Additionally, we are also going to see a couple new field research tasks. So they did not describe how many there would be. I'm kind of guessing that given the history with the Valentine's Day event, there will probably be maybe 2 to 3 field research events that are focused on the new event. That's my guess.
Awesome. Yeah, I even quit clicking on Lunatones after a while because they were so prevalent. I wasn't really saving them up. As you see on screen here, I'm making use of the Sinnoh Stones that I had been hoarding from the Swinub event. So I had 7 Sinnoh Stones, so I was able to grab 7 new Gen 4 Pokemon. And I had picked the first couple Sinnoh Stones that I had kind of out of just general interest. Like I just wanted to see those ones. And these ones I was really just trying to clear out the Pokedex for. So I already had a couple that I thought were going to be useful for combat and meta purposes. And so Rhyperion and Mamoswine were topping that list for me. And then I also had Weevil? Sneasels.
Weevil. Did you do Electivire?
And Electivire, yeah. So I already had those guys squared away. So mostly I was just trying to clear out that Gen 4 Pokedex. I really haven't been making good use of the PvP trainer battles to like milk that for Sinnoh Stones, and I really need to make an attempt to do that.
You mean both trainer and what are they called? Shoot. Not the trainer, but the battle...
with the team captains.
Yeah, team leader battles, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I haven't been doing that much, and I really need to because those Sinnoh Stones are hard to come by, and I really want to clear those guys out.
Yeah.
So we have a new level 5 raid period, although is that over now? We've already switched?
No, it is, well, so...
It's about 10 more days, right? So the 28th for Dialga?
Yes, so starting March 1st, as I spilled bubble tea on myself, starting March 1st, we saw the beginning of Palkia being removed from raids and Dialga being put into raids in its place. So that has been a new boss, a new raid boss that has been previously unavailable. Additionally, I say why I wavered on that. We also had the Rayquaza special weekend, so we're right outside of the Rayquaza weekend, so I was a little bit unsure as to how to answer that question.
Sure. So I actually have only been out to one Dialga raid, which is this one, since that hit. I haven't been doing a whole lot of raiding lately. My schedule's been kind of wonky.
Did you catch it?
Well, we'll see that shortly, but spoiler alert, nope, did not. But again, some kind soul with many Pokemon was willing to trade me one.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
I do really like the animation for Machoke's like fighting moves. Like it's, I don't know.
It's actually fighting.
Yeah, and it's really fast.
Like it's actually boxing.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Like it's actually using the punch move that it has.
Yeah.
No way.
So mostly for this, I haven't, just like has been typical for the past few weeks, I did not pre-make a team, so I was mostly using the suggested teams and then switching out one or two things that seemed a little odd.
I'm curious why you used a Metagross.
That was on the suggested list, and I just didn't pull it out.
Yeah, I figured as much.
And then I really wanted Hot Pants here in the first one, and so I switched that one out. But I think this moveset was not super effective, which appears to be the case.
Yeah.
So again, the auto selecting thing is definitely going to look for a canonical type, and it doesn't even give really a single concern towards its actual moveset. So if you're using the auto sort feature for that, try to be aware of which Pokemon have which moveset. Maybe kind of remember what CP it is for whatever you're going into, because you may want to switch that out, especially if you've got like a wide variety. So like I have that one Alolan Golem that has, or Golem.
If you're going with the creature,
either way,
Golem.
I have one that has 2 electric moves. So even though that's one of its movesets, both of those are electric.
Now, in terms of counters for Dialga, it is a Steel and Dragon type Pokemon. So for you, depending on the weather, of course, you are going to primarily want to use your Machops all day long. Not Machop, that'll go very quickly. But you're going to want to use your Fighting type and your Ground type. So depending on the weather, your Groudons may be super effective because of their ground type moves, or you may want to use things like Makahita or, sorry, what's Machop's final form?
Machoke.
No, Machamp. Machoke's in the middle. Machamp, sorry, brain dump. Machamp is going to be your best fighting in terms of damage per second, so DPS. Hariyama is a decent counter as well. It's got fighting moves, or some of your others, but your ground and your fighting, and occasionally if the weather is boosted, you could use Dragon. So if you have extra Palkias, that would probably be helpful as well.
Do you have just one raid party set up for that?
I have just one. So typically with Dialga, I have gone through my first party very quickly, whether it is Machamp or Groudon. Both having super effective moves, but being not terribly high on the CP spectrum. So those parties have gone down rather quickly, and typically I'm into my second party. So, I chose a little bit lower CP and level Pokemon to have the more super effective moveset to then do more damage per second. So there is some give and take in the counters that you choose for a given raid boss, but given that I've been raiding with no less than 5 people total, I've never had an issue with this.
Yeah, I only had this N of 1, so I went through 2 parties as well, but was using the auto recommended for each time. But yeah, as you can see here, I was having a little bit of trouble with the defense moves. Luckily, Dialga is really close to the throwing plane, however you'd like to describe that. So the circles are large, so you should definitely be able to hit always nice and definitely great, or probably reasonable to hit excellent throws. It's
totally weird catching, though. I have found myself hitting the top of its head several times, like the top of that pointy bit. So it is sort of odd in its placement. It's close as it would be like with Groudon. It's much closer than Palkia. But it's also a weirdly large circle like Groudon, but it's got some weird parts of it that don't quite always fit into the throw circle.
But as you can see, I was having a pretty energetic defense move where they were often 2 and 3 back to back. So definitely keep track of those throws. Try to minimize the number that it bounces off, because those are just wasted attempts and probably a wasted golden razz as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was able to throw a Sinnoh Stone and a Magmar. So I did a similar thing that you had done, is I had already evolved my high IV Snorants. And so I was kind of left with one that's pretty middling. I think it was like 54% IV, so it's not great for that. But I really just wanted to clear this out for Dex purposes. But yeah, because I didn't have any high IV Snorants left.
I had 100.
One of the things to pay attention to if you're going to use a Sinnoh Stone on a Snorant is that it's the lower stage that takes the Sinnoh, not the second one.
Correct. So it does not evolve from Glalie, I think that's how it's pronounced. It evolves from Snorunt straight to Frostlass. So do not pesco, do not attempt to pre-evolve your Snorunt in anticipation. That's not going to work out for you well. Ask me how I know. So it looks like you are clearing out several of your Sinnoh Stones.
Yeah, I used all 7 of them for this period. So this should
Were they all new dex entries?
Yeah.
All 7 of them?
Yeah. So I had used a couple on Mamoswine, and then everything else. And I was like this one, like Duskull, doesn't really have any meta uses. It's really just a dex entry. So
yeah, it could be a gym filler.
Yeah, but maybe. So I was throwing the Sinnoh at it just to kind of clear that out. Because I wasn't, I had such bad luck collecting Sinnoh previously that I'm like, man, I've got these 7 now. I'm gonna go ahead and plug them away, clear away the hard to get dex stuff, and then as they come in, finish it out.
Yeah, in my usage of Sinnoh I have chosen to go primarily with the battle-ready ones first. So I started out with Weevil because I knew I needed another Dark-type catch or another Dark-type Pokemon. And then I went to things like Electivire and Rhyperior. I think Rhyperior might have been my first one because that was my original Rhydon from like 2016. So it's Rhyperior OG.
Is this your first shiny Caterpie?
This is my first shiny Caterpie. So you had threatened to trade me yours, but I, of course, told you to keep your shiny Caterpie. So I caught one, I believe it was last week now, like a week ago time, and I just happened to be stopped at the gas station and found Caterpie hanging out. So that was quite cool.
So previously I had caught one, and I went ahead and evolved it all the way up through its 3 stages, where I'd kind of wished that I had checked to see what it looked like beforehand, because I really didn't dig the shiny Butterfree. I liked the Caterpie in its stage, and I think the burnt orange Metapod looks super cool. So if I catch another one, it will not be ending up as a Butterfree. When
I saw the different options, I liked Butterfree, but it was probably my second favorite. Metapod, of course, my favorite color is orange, so I chose Metapod, and as you can see, I straight evolved it to Metapod just because I love it so much. So I did choose that one. The shiny Caterpie is just kind of weirdly sickly yellow to me. I'm not quite a fan of it.
There's like some color difference on our phones, and I think it's a much nicer looking yellow gold color on my phone. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, your AR application for the Pokesnap is also cooler.
So one of the things that happened, I think, since the last episode, is the ability to change teams once a year. Did you consider changing teams? I did consider changing teams. I haven't. I was thinking about it.
You did?
I was considering it. I was considering maybe flipping over and putting on a yellow hat for a while.
What?
And,
you would never have gym bonuses.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I mean, you can do that. It's just literally... I can only think of one other person in our raiding party that's yellow, and he only comes very infrequently because he drives up.
Yeah. Well, I was considering it, but then I've seen the other people in our raiding group have already switched teams, and they didn't move in that direction, so that was one of the reasons I did not. But I considered it.
I didn't consider it for a second.
But it's pretty expensive. It's 10,000 coins?
No, 1,000.
1,000 coins, right.
But you can only do it once a year, so...
It ends up to be about $9, depending on what national currency you're using and how many coins you buy at a time, $9 or $10. But you can only use it once. I don't know if that's like 365 and a quarter days from when you use it, or once in a calendar year, or how that works.
I'm not sure. I mean, we haven't figured that out yet.
This is a new hatch for you.
It is a new hatch for me, and as we'll see throughout my footage, I hatched, I believe, 2 or 3 of them. I think I hatched 3 of them over the past week and a half. So that was a new Dex entry. There's also another one. Thanks for the follow. I didn't see the name.
Oh, I wasn't looking.
We got a new follow. Thanks for watching. So I hatched 3 Bonsly this week. I also hatched another one that's a new Dex entry. I will probably show you that later. Here's my shiny Mankey that I was so kindly telling you about, mint green, cute cookie monkey. Again, I would not suggest evolving your shiny Mankey because shiny Primeape does not look as cool. But you do what you want, and if you like it, you do you. So, this is me. So our new 7-day rewards, as I hope many of you all have seen, have the opportunity to get the Reggies in them. So this was my first Reggie box, I guess if you want to call it that, the 7-day field research reward. And I'm happy that I got a Regiseal, because I think I only had 2 Registeel, 1 Regirock, and 1 Regice. 1 or 2, maybe 2 Regice, I don't recall. Anyway, I have less than 3 on all of them, and for Regirock, I only had 1. So it was quite nice to be able to catch at least one of those for the first one.
I was only able to snag a Regirock. I didn't have any of the others. So you traded me a Registeel, and I should be hitting up my first 7-day for that period because I lapsed at one point. Tomorrow or the next day.
As you can see, I now only have 2, so I only had 1 of each of them. For some reason, that was another raid boss that I had a lot of trouble catching.
Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work out that way.
More hatching. I hatched a ton of eggs this week. Between 7K eggs that I intentionally put into hatchers. Oh yeah, also shiny Wilmer. It's been a good couple weeks.
Your shiny luck the past month has been insane.
I'm telling you, man, since I got really close to level 40, my shiny luck has gotten better than my raid luck. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I'm catching a shiny Wilmer. Well, this is past footage, so this is footage over the last couple weeks, and I just happened into a shiny Wilmer while we were waiting on a raid. So that was super exciting. I know that shinies are super hard to come by, so this one was not too long after I had caught the shiny Caterpie, so that was quite awesome. Sorry, we have a phone. Groovy music. See, here's the second Bonsley. We have my second Bonsley, and that was right after a Dialga raid, so it's been a good couple weeks. I will say it that way. Shiny Caterpie, shiny Wilmer, shiny Mankey, a 98% IV Dialga, in addition to hatching 2 or 3 Bonsley, and another one that we'll probably see later in the stream.
We've been on 2 or 3 shinies per week.
Yeah.
For the last month.
Yes. Which is why I'm doing this Mawile raid, because lest you forget, there is a shiny Mawile in the shiny library, if you want to use it that way. So that's why I continue to do some of the lower level raids, in addition to getting Golden Raspberry that I probably won't use for a small Pokemon. So actually in some of my Rayquaza raids over the weekend, I ran out of Golden Raspberry. So I had to use things like Silver Pinap and hope for the best. On one instance, I did catch with the Silver Pinap, so that was kind of exciting, but that's few and far between. So when you're in the raid boss catching screen, the Golden Raz is your best option, but if you don't have any other options, the Silver Pinap is somewhat helpful. I mean, it helps you catch and it gives you extra candy, but it's nowhere near the Golden Raz helping. So I believe there are, at least for a while, there were some catch percentages in terms, like a spreadsheet of if you got a great, excellent, or nice throw in according to what berry you used, it would show you what sort of percentage you might catch. But I think those things have changed now that game mechanics have also changed. So that's probably not as accurate now.
Did you, by chance, make use of the legendary lunch hour event?
I did not. Well, let me put it this way. I'm usually out and about during that time, so I usually stop by a raid or 2 anyway. So I honestly don't even recall if I have done that so far, because I didn't actually notice that there was anything different than me being out doing raids during lunchtime. So maybe? I don't really know. Anyway, there is the legendary lunch hour. Would you like to say more about that?
Sure. So the Legendary Lunch Hour was a short-lived one-day event where there was increased raids at between 12 and 1 p.m. for local time raids. And the idea was that working folks might take a non-working lunch and go out and play some Pokemon. It's set up that I just happened to miss it on that day. I didn't see a whole lot of stats about who used it or who didn't. Hey, Brackett. Hey, Mr. 49er Nation. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for hanging in. We have a question about Ditto and for the Meltan quest, and I don't think trades actually will trigger that particular quest because I tried to trade a leap for that part that I was stuck on. So you can't trade Ditto for that event. Plus, we'd have to be physically close by for that to work.
One thing that you can do is to trade for your badges. You can trade large Magikarp or tiny Rattata, and that will help you towards your badges, but it will not help you towards your special research. So it will not help you in your quest, but you will have to go find some of your regular Ditto possibilities, your faux Dittos, which are things like Pidgey, Ghastly, Rattata. I'm just trying to think of all of your basic Pokemon. There's a list of like 8 or 9 different things that are could possibly be Ditto. So sometimes during special events they will take out Pokemon on that. So during the Halloween event, Ghastly was not a Ditto, but otherwise you can find some.
So as of March 2019, you can find Ditto in Pidgey, Rattata, Zubat, Paris, Ghastly, Sentret, Yanma, Hoot Hoot, Zigzagoon, Whismur, Gulpin, Mankey, Remoraid, and Meltan.
Yeah, I forgot Gulpin. Gulpin is a big one, but I usually overlook it because it's not really helpful in things other than possibly PvP, but not really. So I typically overlook most of those, except now that we have the possibility of a shiny Rattata, that is a good one to take a look at.
49er wants to know what level we're playing at. I'm level 36. I've been level 36, and I will continue to be level 36 for many, many weeks.
I'm level 40. So we have been playing this a while. Both technically started on day 1 of Pokemon, but Kevin took a while of a sabbatical. I have been constant ever since, which is why I'm level 40. I'm kind of...
She's kind of a big deal.
No, not really, but I love Pokemon, so I'm devoted. We'll put it that way.
For those of you in the chat, if you want to drop in for what your levels are, feel free, because we've been sharing that information as well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are coming back to the game really since last summer, so welcome back if you're one of those new players.
Yes, so another new thing that has emerged that I totally forgot to talk about, now it reminds me, is that we have a new Ditto form. This is Ditto number 2, if you are counting in your Pokedex. I am now only missing number 4, but additionally, I think we talked about this last time we were on the stream, there are several new Ditto forms. So I hate to break it to you, if you were hoping to fill out your Pokedex, you now have more Spindas to catch. So that's a little bit sad and a little bit exciting. Like a lot of Spindas, like at least 10 or 15 more Spindas to catch.
Ooh, man, I have not seen enough Combees to even think about this evolution stage.
So, the Combee, I have been following on my Discord app where the local Combees are. So every time I'm out, I go follow those. Those Shieldon, Craniados, and let's see what else. Yeah, those Pokemon, I oftentimes will go hunt out if somebody reports them on Discord. So that's why I had enough. I think I used 1 or 2 rare candies on that Combee. So I was able to get Vespiquen out of the way. Again, I don't think it's going to be totally meta relevant, at least not for battles. It may become helpful in PvP, but that's to be seen still. So it's mostly just a Pokedex filler, but if you're sitting on a pile of rare candies, it may be helpful for that. I'm not sure what your goals are in the game, so if your goal is to totally fill out your Pokedex, it's reasonable to use your rare candies. If you solely want to get the most powerful Pokemon and beat your friends at battling, maybe that's not the best use of your rare candy.
Sorry, I'm just here like blown away by 49ers. He's hit level 40 3 times, and he's about to hit 2 million Stardust, or 20 million Stardust.
Dang, good job, 49er.
Pretty insane.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. You are quite devoted.
Young 88, I took about a year off. I actually worked for an employer who prohibited it on their property, so that produced kind of an issue, and I basically quit playing for about a year. So I've been back into it with reasonable diligence since June. And so from June, I've gone from level 16 to 36.
Which is a significant chunk. It's a lot of work. Basically, once you get past level 31, 32, your experience starts to add up. So just as a side note here, I saw on the footage, this is the first Mawile I have ever hatched.
Really?
Yes, the first Mawile I have ever hatched. I have only ever gotten one through a raid battle or a trade. The first one I traded because I still didn't have one. So that's my first hatch. So it's not totally uncommon for even seasoned players to have new egg hatches.
Actually, now that you mention it, I don't think I've ever hatched a Mawile. I think I've only gotten them from raids.
I also have a new Pokedex entry over the past 2 weeks. I finally had enough candies to evolve my Shinx fully. Now granted, I had my Shinx evolve to a Luxio, but this is my first Luxray. So I have gone to several Shinx raids trying to get candies, throwing peanut berries on it, using rare candies, and I still have come up short. So, as you can see, I've got one candy left over just in time to evolve that guy.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's 91% IV, so I'm pretty happy with it. I kind of wanted a shiny one, so I was trying to hold out, but at the end of the day, my curiosity to fill my Pokedex won over.
Yeah, I don't have the third stage yet for that. So how many Dialga have you caught in the interim?
How many Dialga have I caught?
Plus the one you traded to me?
Not too many. Let me look here in my Pokedex. So I've only caught 3. So I've not done a ton of them just because the last few weeks have been hectic, but one of them is a 98% IV. So that's like super exciting because that typically never happens for raid bosses that I catch other than that one Deoxys. So that's number 3 on the Bonsly. So it was super exciting to get a 98%. And after that, I didn't really feel the need to continue to do 12 Dialga raids. That being said, I will still do more Dialga raids. It's just I don't have the fervor to send me to do Dialga raids as much. But I did trade one to you so that you would get one. So now that I've got several dragon counters, I'm less inclined to hoard my legendaries. That being said, I have a ton of legendaries that the internal part of me is dying inside if I think about transferring them. So I've got something in the numbers of like 200 legendary Pokemon that I'm unwilling to transfer because it just hurts me inside.
So we have an invite for an X-Raid tomorrow, which should still be the attack form of Deoxys, but we will have a new Deoxys form starting next week on the 25th, is that right? And that is the defense form, right? The no-neck, kind of bullet-looking defense form of Deoxys.
Yeah, defense form is definitely a little bit bulkier. It's your standard linebacker. It's still got the noodle Twizzler arms, but it is a little bit bulkier with no neck. So that will be exciting. That starts on the 25th. One question that we have been wondering about is whether the invites that we received over the past weekend for the 25th will be the new form. We had this also come up last time when they were switching from the speed to the attack. Is that the right order? Or was it normal and then attack?
It was normal then attack.
Okay. So as we were switching from normal to attack, we also had the same situation. But for us, it turned out that that was just the first day of the new form. So I'm hoping that our invites that are for the 25th will be this new form.
Jason wants to know if you have yet caught a shiny Shelder.
I have not yet caught a shiny Shelder. I have considered putting it up on Discord that I want one, but I have not yet found one.
I have checked hundreds of Shelders for you, and I've seen 0.
Yeah. I have checked literally most all Shelders that I have seen, and I have still not come across one.
Have you seen a shiny Pidgey yet?
I have not seen a shiny Pidgey, nor have I seen a shiny Rattata, or...
the shiny Alolan Rattata looks really cool. It's this like deep maroon color, and I would definitely dig having one of those.
The only shiny babies that I've ever hatched are 2 Smoochum.
So Crimsonix is going to rub it in.
Oh man, that hurts.
Shiny Shelders.
5 shiny Shelders. I want one so bad. That's like the one Pokemon from the start that I was like, I want a shiny version. Because it's real cool orange. And Kabuto is real cool like candy apple green. So those are my 2 top ones. I was able to secure, as you'll see next week, a new shiny through trade. So stay tuned on that. But for now, it looks like I'm catching a Ho-Oh, which I also have a shiny form of, which looks like a cool metal chicken. So go look up your shiny Shelder form, or sorry, your shiny Ho-Oh if you haven't seen it. It's got this cool like silver metallic look to it. It's totally bad A.
So Young 88 also they caught a shiny Drowsy and Machop this weekend.
Oh, nice.
The shiny Machop is looks pretty cool. So it starts off looking kind of Kermit the Frog-ish and ends up looking very Ninja Turtle-ish.
Totally Ninja Turtle-ish.
Which is definitely pretty cool. I haven't had any of the new shinies. I think the last shiny I caught was that Snubble I accidentally caught with the Pokemon Go Plus dongle. Outside of an event.
Outside of Community Day. Recently, I have caught shiny Snubble, shiny not Swinub. Swinub from Community Day, but Spoink. Sorry, my brain was not working. Shiny Spoink, shiny Wailmer, as you saw, shiny Mankey, as you saw, shiny Caterpie. What else? Was that it? Anyway, there have been so many in the last few weeks, the last month really, since level 40. That I've been super excited about.
So yeah, the last shiny that I have from outside an event is actually a shiny Drifloon, but I traded for that, and a shiny Magneton, which I also traded for. But other than that, it's all been event Pokemon. I ended up with 2 shiny Clamperls from that event, one of which I evolved into a Huntail, and the other one which I have not evolved yet because those candies.
Yeah, those candies. Use your rare candies on those, man.
I ended up with a shiny Phoebus, Circle of Luck. But yeah.
Remember that...
Ooh, a research task shiny. An Aerodactyl. Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have... is that true? I have never gotten a shiny through a research task.
No, me neither.
So I just want to speak that out into the universe and hope that Niantic hears my pleas. Right? That's how that works. Anyway... I've also checked probably hundreds, if not thousands, of Shelders and still no luck. I did get a couple shiny Clamperls, which both ended up being shiny Huntail. So I'm actually scheduled with a friend to trade for a shiny Gorbis so I can complete my Dex entry. So I'll be using rare candies on those as well. Here we are. You see that I was battling a Rayquaza, which I missed the first time around because I was angry at having not caught Lugia in the first raid battles. So I was boycotting raid battles, which meant that I missed all of those legendary guys. So I am excited to get Rayquaza. I think I already have 3 from the weekend, so it was a pretty good haul. I didn't do too many raids. There were some schedule conflicts, so I didn't have as much time as I wanted to devote to that.
So, not today since you are in a special trade, but you will eventually trade me a Rayquaza, right?
I will trade you a Rayquaza.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. So we did send out a raid party group this weekend to do both Dialga and Rayquaza raids, since they were both in raid battles. We have a group of pretty consistently at least 5 to 10 people who go out. If not, I will meet up with people on Discord, strangers on the internet, and we will raid for Pokemon.
So Crimsonic's asking about a shiny Alakazam raid day on the 7th.
I have not seen news for that.
That's news to me.
Yeah, so I'm curious where you found that. Was that news on the app, on Twitter?
That's a leak.
A leak? Oh, from Krails? That would be super exciting. I would be totally psyched about that. Because any kind of shiny Pokemon, I am super excited about.
It's going to be one of those 3-hour raid windows.
3-hour raid windows. Okay. Well, given that, I do hope that it is during a time that I can actually get out and do that. Or at least that I can reorient my schedule to go do that. Again, I hope that that actually happens, right? We had the shiny Gengar, and that was sort of...
I struck out there.
Yeah, I didn't get any shiny Gengar. I just got lots of plain Gengar, which are glass cannons and basically one-hit wonders. So, I'm hoping that the Alakazam, if that comes to fruition, will be a little bit more fruitful. So, my first Rayquaza! Hey! Been waiting a long time on that. I like the flying dragon that looks like a Drano pipe cleaner. So, what else? Oh, let's talk about counters for Rayquaza.
Sure.
One Pokemon, as you will see, is my very first Pokemon, is Mamoswine. Mamoswine with the ice moves is going to be extremely effective for your DPS, your damage per second. It doesn't last very long, but because both moves are super effective if they're ice type, it does make for a good counter. As you can see, I'm sadly using a Lapras here as my second Pokemon, which is not very fast, but the moves are still effective. So with that one, I kind of had some give and take on my counters, but with Rayquaza, your ice-type Pokemon were of the essence there. So you could have used things like Jinx if you had lesser counters, or you could use things like Walrein. I used one, or even Cloyster.
And so you also have another type for counters for that, dragon types, right?
Yes, so I also used Dialga, actually, for a counter on Rayquaza, because it is a dragon type, depending on the weather, of course. When it's windy, dragon type moves are weather boosted, so that will be effective for you in your counters.
So I'm hearing pile of Dragonites.
You could use a pile of Dragonites, you could use a pile of Palkia, you could use a pile of Dialga, you could use a pile of Rayquaza, which feels a little sick, or you could use any of the other number of dragons that you've got. That will be helpful. But for the most part, use your ice, baby. Anyway.
We just got a cheer from... Yep.
We or Leaf. Thanks.
So
we're excited you're here.
Thanks for joining us in the chat. This is Let's Play Games West Virginia. We have something going on every night of the week, and we're currently in the midst of Pokemondays.
And we like to make bad jokes.
Yeah, that happens.
Right, I just sang Ice Baby. Whatever. So, Werewolf. We'll take it.
We'll take it.
So it's been an eventful couple weeks. We have had a lot of stuff happening. We've already talked about Dialga. We've talked about the legendary lunch hour. We've talked about Rayquaza, which is right there, as you can see. We've talked about the new Deoxys defense form. And now we have also talked about the Equinox event. But we're not done yet. We are just on the border of a new event that starts tomorrow. That's the Equinox. We just passed by the Battle Showdown event. And now we're going to have Community Day.
What is this coming Community Day for?
Trico.
Right.
The one that everybody forgets about.
Trico spawns were weird because for the longest time they were few and far between, and I had a really hard time filling out the Pokedex there. And then it seems like for the last couple months they're so common that I don't even click on most of them anymore.
Yeah, I've stopped clicking on Trico. Grovyle is sometimes helpful in your PvP work, so you may consider that. But I've got plenty, and I'm not terribly concerned. I actually do have another event that I'm going to be doing, so my schedule probably will not allow me to do much Community Day action, which I'm sad about. But if it's going to be any Pokemon, I'm okay with it being Trico.
Sure. I will, however, definitely accept a shiny Trico, so I will try to check in, but I'm busy most of that day as well.
Okay. Yeah, you should check in and see, because I'll be lifting heavy things for medals. Medal for medal. Sorry. Anyway, I'm trying to become a Machamp in real life. That's all.
Sweet.
Less arms.
Yeah, Trico's a weird choice. There's actually, I think the choice for Community Days the last few months have been a little bit strange. They haven't elicited as much excitement. I think it started going downhill at Pumpkin Spice Chikorita.
Yeah, I did like the December event where they went back and let you catch any of the Pokemon, including their shiny forms. That was exciting. I was hyped for that one. The other events, I've been a little ambivalent about. Now, granted, it's still a Community Day. There's still shiny Pokemon to be caught, and I'm still going to get extra XP, Stardust, and lower hatching rates. So yeah, I'm okay with it.
The increased shiny hatching rate, fun 8-bit badges for the Sylph Road, if you're checking in on the Sylph Road, are definitely fun. So if you're a player who's just gotten back into the game, you may want to check out some other resources that can go alongside Pokemon Go, which would be a local Discord community for you. The Discord really for us is part and parcel for often how we play. So we have a rating group that focuses, and then we also use the Discord to help coordinate with other players. And that really lets us spread our energy around town and make sure that we get the most use of these limited time events. The other thing on that is the Sylph Road. So that can be everything from PvP, which might be new for you if you're an old returning player. Finally, we have PvP, and through the Sylph League, we actually have ranked competitive local, regional, national, global championships in Pokemon PvP.
So it looks like Crimson managed to gain 600,000 Stardust by the end of some of the
doing what?
The event. It was double like everything. With the Battle Showdown event, the fighting type were out. You got Shiny, Mankey, and Machop. You got 2 times Catch, Battle, and Raid Stardust. So literally double Stardust everywhere.
That's insane.
Additionally, there were 2 times the XP for gym badges. So if you needed to level up your gym badges in any places, you got double for that, for battling and taking possession of the gyms. In addition to the extra perks for the gym leaders. So I didn't take advantage of that aspect of it. I'm kind of sad that I didn't, but I have all of the Gen 4 with the Sinnoh Stone that I need, so I don't feel like I'm missing out on too much other than the rare candy.
I spent pretty much all of the Stardust I had creating a team for the Boulder Cup a few weeks ago.
Oh no!
And so I have been I have been rebuilding. I was down to like 10,000 Stardust because
that's like nothing.
Powered up an entire team of 6.
Yeah.
From like nothing to roughly competitive, and then I still got my ass handed to me. But, so I'm at like a little bit less than 400,000 Stardust right now, because that's been rebuilding from 10,000.
Whoa. That's totally crazy. Where am I sitting at now? I did do several special trades over the weekend, but I'm currently sitting at 603,000 and change Stardust. So, I've been making bank on those. Granted, I've also used a lot recently, so...
Although we did a special trade just yesterday, so
we did a trade yesterday.
60 or 80,000.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think 60. I did a special trade today that I'll talk about next week. I'm not going to spoil, but it was 80,000.
We'll do one tomorrow.
We'll do one tomorrow, so he can get a Rayquaza. We did a couple over the weekend, didn't we?
Is it a shiny Tyranitar, or is the color just...
It is shiny Tyranitar. Yep, I got that from Community Day a long time ago, but the only reason you can tell it's shiny, other than its vomit green Reptar color, is that it's got the purple badge on its back. So the regular has a different colored chest and back piece. The shiny Larvitar and shiny Pupitar look much cooler. But, again, shiny Tyranitar is still a Tyranitar and is still helpful. So I'm not going to turn it away.
Sure. Yeah, I missed that community day event. I wasn't playing at the time. I missed a lot of those early community day events.
Yeah. I did as well, or I wasn't quite up on the news. I was just playing haphazardly, and so I didn't quite realize that there were actually community events. I don't know. Wasn't following the news. So I just happened to see that there were like 2,000 Pikachus everywhere, and I happened upon a couple shiny ones, and I'm like, oh my god, what is this? What's happening? So then I started looking and watching the news. Go figure.
That was kind of before you got really, really serious about playing.
Yeah, that's true. So, there's the silver pinup I had to use, because I was telling you about the plight of not having enough golden raspberries. I say plight, it's really just... yeah, whatever. It's not a plight. I just used them too much.
One of the things I need to do is kind of milk some lower level raids for golden raspberries and rare candies. Because I'm alright with the golden ras. Like, I could do probably several raid days or community days. But I'm really hurting on rare candies.
One thing I will say about the lower level raids is that when you do get perks at the end of the raid, they are much lower. So for a level 1, 2, or 3 raid, I may only get 1 golden raspberry. I may only get 1 or 2. But if you're doing enough raids, those things add up because you don't have to use the golden ras to catch, a Magikarp for a level 1 raid. So it's still beneficial. It's just experience more so than golden ras.
Worf wants to know how many Rayquaza you have thus far.
How many Rayquaza? Because I missed the first time it was around in raid battles, I only got 3 over the weekend. I think we did 4 Rayquaza raids, but due to schedule difficulties, I couldn't get out to more than that. So, 3, and I'm going to give 1 to this guy tomorrow.
Right, so I'm at 0 thus far because I haven't been a chance to make a raid yet.
Mm-hmm. I'm making you a Klingon.
I called him Worf.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Anyway, back to the Steel and Dragon type Pokemon that looks sort of like it's got a crystal for a head.
Something about both Palkia and Dialga remind me of like old school Power Ranger Zords.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, like they could either be a Power Ranger weapon or they could be like the evil genius that the Power Rangers are fighting against. Maybe also a Transformer.
If there's like a Power Ranger Pokemon mashup.
Wait, Pokemon, Transformer, and Power Ranger. Like all of the mesh over there.
Sure, I watch that.
Yeah, I would totally watch that. Except if they got to like movie 6 or 7, right? Steven Spielberg, I'm looking at you. Because we're done with Transformers. Just stop it, it's dead. Anyway, back to Pokemon. Remember that Groudon is a very helpful counter for that. You can see there that your ground type moves are super effective for the most part. And if they're not, then choose your fighting moves. And if they're not, use some dragons. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Michael Bay.
More explosions, less ED.
More explosions. Still. Stop. Stop. It's dead. I don't know why I'm using a Mewtwo here, but I am.
Is it your Legacy Mewtwo or one of the new ones?
It is not. You can see that is my fighting move Mewtwo. So I think that was probably my second party that just came with the recommended. So I used it, and it went down pretty quickly. So again, when they recommend you parties, they're not the best. See, Hitmonlee, they're not super effective, but I mean the moves are, but it's a tiny Pokemon. So whatever. I typically, in preparation, will prepare one raid group or one counter group for a particular raid boss, and then after that I will go with what's recommended in the middle, mostly just so I can get back in the raid quickly to get extra perks, to add up to my effectiveness in battle to get extra raid balls. So that's my current go-to method, and it seems to be working well, aside from when I'm in a raid battle with 12,000 instinct players, because that never happens.
One of the useful things to do is if you do end up in your second party, because we've had some scheduling conflicts where I'll have like a lucky egg or a star piece run out like a few minutes into the raid, but if you're in that little liminal period between parties, you can access your pack and you can use items. So the idea there is so that you can resurrect that party, but you can also turn on an egg or a star piece in that period.
Yeah, I have done that a couple times. When my first set dies, I knew that my egg and star piece were going to be dying somewhere in the middle, like when the raid or when the lobby just closes. So I will go do that.
A 2-move Rhyperion in there?
Yes.
Rhyperior, yeah. Yeah, Rhyperior. Did you set that up for PvP or did you just want 2 moves for...
I wanted 2 moves, and I did that strategically for that Pokemon because, one, it was like one of my original ride-ons from when I was living in Texas in 2016, and so I purposely evolved that to Rhyperior, and then when they announced that you could add a second move, I thought, what better Pokemon than one of my OGs? So I gave it the second move, and then knowing that some of the different types of moves would be more effective, I gave it a ground move and a water move. So Surf is effective.
Awesome. Was that one of the expensive second moves, or was that one of the cheaper ones?
I don't remember.
There's a scale. Some of them are almost reasonable, and then others are just absolutely...
Oh my gosh. Speaking of one that's totally unreasonable...
Talking about the glitch?
What?
There's a glitch for a second move for Smeargle.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I was thinking of. Smeargle, for a while, would show you that the secondary move was like 99,999 candies. You're like, oh my god, how do I even do that? What do you even mean? But now it doesn't even give you an option, so... Well,
Niantic had said that was a glitch and it was going to be corrected on the next large update.
Yeah, but it was there for a while.
Never supposed to be intended to have a second move, and TMs were not going to be useful after that update as well, I think.
Right.
That was a Trainer Tips Nick video, if I recall correctly. If you're not following Trainer Tips Nick on the YouTubes, what are you doing?
The YouTube.
So definitely check that out.
Yeah. So let's see. Most of them, it looks kind of like it's somewhere in the range of anything up to 100,000.
Some are as low as 10.
Some of them are as low as 10. I will say, when you are preparing for PvP, if you are thinking about that, do use the opportunity to give your baby Pokemon the secondary move and then evolve it, because it will be cheaper that way. So rather than giving your Togekiss a second move, maybe give your Togepi a second move and then evolve it to a Togekiss. That will save you some time and resources in the long run.
I haven't paid attention to the for that post.
Sorry, I'm looking at the comment. If you have good Groudon there, good if they're bad IV, they're taken down fast. Yep. Yeah, pretty much. So as we are preparing for the next week, remember that there is the Trico Community Day if you are interested in that. I'm sure there will be a shiny. I'm sure there will be lots of perks for that. I know the eggs will hatch faster and such. Other than that, get prepared for the Equinox event that starts tomorrow and have some fun.
Awesome. Once again, this is Pokemonday. This is Let's Play Games West Virginia. We're a group of West Virginia-based streamers who stream every day of the week. There's something going on. We have our schedule at the ticker tape at the bottom, and we'd be happy to have you join us next Monday for Pokemonday. To everyone else who's hanging out in the chat, thanks. We really appreciate that energy and interaction from folks. There are credits after the stream, so if you were one of the folks who sent us a cheer or a follow, please hang out to see your name eternally enshrined on the internet.
Yay, we're thankful. Thanks for tuning in.
And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.